In the weird world of mythology, there's been an incredible amount of monsters and creatures who have enticed and thrilled the thoughts of man for our entire existence. As humans, we share and feel emotions, happy when we are rewarded, and sad when we lose, or perhaps angry when we don't get our way. One particular emotion of which humans possess is fear. The fear of unknowing, or perhaps of the dark. The primal feeling of fear has been fuel for countless generations of humans to create folklore of scary beings and foul beasts. But what if there was a story which has existed since the dawn of man, which has been told all across the world in places with no communication or connection? From the Middle East to China, from the frozen tundra of Siberia to the plains of North America, the story of unbelievable creatures of massive proportions has been shared globally through the existence of man. Today we investigate the written evidence into the giants among us. The Nephilim. The Nephilim are giant mysterious beings from heaven who were alive in the time before the Great Flood. Their name comes from the Hebrew word Nephal, which translates to fall. Nephilim therefore translates literally as the Fallen Ones. By being named the Fallen Ones, they are described as creatures who lived in heaven and fell to the earth during the time of Genesis. They are often referred to as sons of God, and were first suggested in the Gnostic text, the Book of Enoch, which is a key religious text when referencing the events which happened in the early parts of human history, according to religion. In Genesis 6:1-4, we read, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans, who bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, warriors of renown." A very interesting wording indeed. This verse tells a majorly forgotten story in today's Jewish and Christian faiths, a story which may cast a light into the wondrous feats of early humans. You see, in most widely practiced religions today, the masses are taught that humans with the capability of magic and superpowers are only to be found in your local cinema. But the books of the Old Testament, both Gnostic and canonical, can give us a glimpse into the truth behind real popular fiction. Another quote from the Bible regarding the Nephilim can be found in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, which states, "There we saw the Nephilim, and to ourselves we seemed like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them." The Nephilim, of which the book of Genesis first referred to, were massive in size compared to humanity at the time, with some accounts crediting the Nephilim to be over 50 feet tall. As time passed by, the lineage of the Nephilim would mix with human genes, and the overall height of the man-giant offspring would become less over time. Next we move on to ancient Greece and their mythology. The Titans of ancient Greek mythology were said to be some of the first beings in existence, just as the Nephilim were. The sky god Uranus and the earth goddess Gaia were said to have created 12 offspring known as the Titans, 6 being male and 6 female. The 6 male Titans were Crius, Coeus, Oceanus, Iapetus, Hyperion, and Kronos. The 6 female Titans were Themis, Thea, Rhea, Phoebe, Mnemosyne, and Tethys. The most famous of all the Titans was the youngest of them all, Kronos, who became their leader. Kronos was overthrown by his own son, Zeus, and imprisoned in Tartarus, a kind of void where the souls of the dead go to be judged. According to ancient Greek accounts, the Titans, on average, were said to be 20 to 30 feet tall, and had massive physical strength on top of their magical abilities. Their massive stature was passed on to some of their offspring, such as the Olympians, who were recorded to be no taller than 20 feet, although they could change their height at will. Another example of extremely tall humanoid beings in Greek history are the Cyclops. There are few accounts to the origin of the Cyclops. one of which is that they were children of Olympus, who were pivotal in the construction of temples and even creating Zeus's lightning bolts. In Homer's The Odyssey, they are shown as nomad shepherds. The long-lasting traditions of the Cyclops can be found in the Peloponnese region of Greece, where large stone walls can be found, with great giant stone bricks fit so tightly together that they require no mortar and have stood for thousands of years. The Cyclops are credited with building these structures, as the massive weight and precise cutting of these anomalies were so unheard of that the people in the region could only imagine their construction being done by people of great body size. Cyclopean masonry became both a myth and truth for Greek society in ancient times. Back to the Olympians. Being grandchildren of Gaia and Uranus, the creator gods, are in essence a lot like the Sumerian Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were said to be massive humanoid beings, who were, once again, the offspring of gods from the sky. Anunnaki literally means children of the sky. These ancient demigods were recorded to be massive in size, even reaching heights of 40 to 50 feet. There are several records written in the Sumerian cuneiform text which tell unbelievable stories of daily interactions with the Anunnaki. They built massive temples to become the earthly home for these divine beings, which are known today as ziggurats. I've mentioned the Anunnaki on several occasions in my videos, so I won't go too deep into the religion behind the early Sumerians, but the large stature of their deities is important to mention when talking about giants throughout history. In Norse mythology, giants were primordial beings that predated the gods. The gods of Asgard defeated the giants and claimed control of the realms of man, a similar story to the Grecian mythology of Olympus. The previously mentioned cases of giants among us have relied heavily on tales and legend, and no examples of 20-foot human skeletons have been found, or at least to have been reported. For this, I have three theories. Either giants never existed, but just so happened to be a large part of mythology in cultures across the world, who didn't have communication with each other. This theory is accepted by modern science, but is too coincidental to overlook the possibility of a reality between these behemoth creatures. The second theory is that giants were real, but in a time when their bones and fossils are so deep underground that the depth exceeds the distance of which we currently dig for in archaeological purposes. The third theory is my personal one, and the one that makes the most sense to me. Giants in all forms of mythology and religion are half-breeds, born of a divine nature with the blood of ancient deities running through their veins. Just as how the gods preside in Olympus and the Nephilim went to live with their father in heaven, giants across all cultures may have returned to the very place where they came from upon their death, a spiritual rising into the ethereal plane, as a Pentecostal ascension in the New Testament. Body and soul leave the terrestrial plane and become one with the all, dust returning to dust and ash to ash. We may never understand why ancient cultures were so entrenched with the stories of massive beings, but one thing is for sure: no matter what culture you belong to, or what religion you follow, you are sure to hear a tale of the giants among us. I'd like to thank you for joining us on another edition of the Eleusinian Society. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have any ideas for new videos.